Big night for President Trump as he addressed lawmakers and the nation.
He delivered his third State of the Union speech outlining economic achievements while avoiding the topic of his impeachment trial. And it was a wild night with many surprise moments.
KCAL 9 political reporter Randy Page is in the newsroom with all of the highlights. Randy?
Hi, Sharon. President Trump went into tonight's State of the Union with the strongest approval ratings of his presidency. And it is clear he took the opportunity tonight to make the most of it.
And America's future is blazing bright. The years of economic decay are over.
President Trump began his third State of the Union speech with what many supporters believe is his signature accomplishment, a thriving economy.
I am thrilled to report to you tonight that our economy is the best it has ever been.
It didn't take long for the speech to turn partisan as the president took aim at the previous occupant of the White House.
If we hadn't reversed the failed economic policies of the previous administration, the world would not now be witnessing this great economic success.
There were some emotional moments. Conservative radio host Rush Limbaugh, recently diagnosed with lung cancer, appeared stunned when the president honored him.
I am proud to announce tonight that you will be receiving our country's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
There were moments of mutual applause.
We must also rebuild America's infrastructure.
And there were moments that sounded more like a campaign speech, like this one.
There are those who want to take away your health care, take away your doctor, and abolish private insurance entirely. 132 lawmakers in this room have endorsed legislation to impose a socialist takeover of our health care system, wiping out the private health insurance plans of 180 million very happy Americans. To those watching at home tonight, I want you to know we will never let socialism destroy American health care.
Democrats appeared incredulous when the president said this.
We will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions.
And when the president took aim at California.
The state of California passed an outrageous law declaring their whole state to be a sanctuary for criminal, illegal immigrants. A very terrible sanctuary with catastrophic results. I ask Congress to pass the Justice for Victims of Sanctuary Cities Act immediately. The United States of America should be a sanctuary for law-abiding Americans, not criminal aliens.
And only half of the room was applauding when the speech came to an end.
And ladies and gentlemen, our ancestors built the most exceptional republic ever to exist in all of human history, and we are making it greater than ever before.
The first and final moments were revealing. Watch what happens when Speaker Nancy Pelosi extends her hand to the president after he gives her a copy of the speech. And when it was all over, Speaker Pelosi appears to tear the speech up. Governor Gretchen Whitmer gave the Democratic response.
But by our actions. As we witness the impeachment process in Washington, there are some things each of us, no matter our party, should demand. The truth matters. Facts matter. And no one should be above the law. It's not what those senators say. Tomorrow, it's about what they do that matters. Remember, listen to what people say, but watch what they do. It's time for action. Generations of Americans are counting on us. Let's not let them down. Thank you for listening. God bless America. Good night.
The president did not mention anything about his impeachment in tonight's speech, but he has publicly said he intends to have plenty to say about it after tomorrow's vote in the Senate that is sure to be an acquittal. Let's go back to you.
All right, Randy, thank you.